The ninth episode of My Hero Academia, Vigilantes, delivers a perfect blend of comedy, action, and unexpected reveals about Koichi's past as his mother makes a surprise visit to his apartment. Titled, Mom Descends, the episode opens with Makoto Tsukachi unexpectedly introducing herself as Koichi's girlfriend, a ruse that immediately establishes the episode's humorous tone. This charade is part of an elaborate plan to impress Koichi's mother, who has arrived unannounced to check on her son's living situation and potentially bring him back home if she finds his Tokyo life unsatisfactory. Koichi is clearly caught off guard by his mother's arrival, and the situation becomes increasingly awkward as he tries to maintain appearances. Makoto, who seems to be a friend helping Koichi out, plays her role convincingly, telling his mother that they attend the same college but are in different years. The interaction takes a comical turn when Koichi's mother immediately suggests that Makoto should really marry into our family, displaying her eagerness to see her son settled with someone she considers a good match. This enthusiasm for Makoto highlights the mother's concerns about Koichi's life choices and her desire for him to follow a more conventional path. The comedy escalates when Pop Step, Kazuho Hanayama, arrives at the apartment. In a panic, Koichi introduces her by her real name rather than her vigilante alias, and the social awkwardness reaches new heights. Kazuho's discomfort is palpable as she's suddenly thrust into this family dynamic, and she struggles to explain her connection to Koichi. Just when it seems the situation can't get more complicated, Knuckle Duster appears at the door, creating yet another challenging explanation for Koichi to fabricate. In perhaps the most surprising moment of the episode's first half, Knuckle Duster smoothly presents himself as Takashi Kuroiwa, a representative of a community assistance organization. With remarkable social grace that contrasts his usual gruff demeanor, he explains that he runs a nonprofit that performs neighborhood patrols and cleanup with help from volunteers, like Koichi and Kazuho. He even produces a professional business card to complete the facade. This clever cover story not only satisfies Koichi's mother's curiosity but transforms her perception of her son's activities from questionable to commendable community service. Knuckle Duster's performance is so convincing that Koichi's mother becomes genuinely impressed, especially when she learns that Kuroiwa teaches self-defense on the building's rooftop, explaining why Koichi calls him Master. The moment takes an interesting turn when she asks if Knuckle Duster was once a hero, showing her respect for the profession despite her concerns about her son following that path. Knuckle Duster dismissively responds that heroes live at the whims of others and badly neglect their own lives, providing insight into his philosophy and possibly explaining why he operates as a vigilante rather than a licensed hero. Through his mother's conversations, we learn crucial details about Koichi's background that shed light on his character. She reveals that as a child, Koichi idolized All Might and frequently poked his nose into fights to help others, showing his heroic instincts from an early age. We also discover that he failed his hero school entrance exam after falling into a river, a setback that led him to his current path as an unlicensed vigilante. These revelations add depth to Koichi's character, framing his vigilante activities as a continuation of his lifelong desire to help others rather than a recent development. The episode shifts from domestic comedy to action when Koichi's mother and Makoto board a tour bus that becomes the target of a villain with a monster cat, Quirk. The bus transforms into a giant cat-like entity and begins speeding uncontrollably through the city streets. This crisis brings the pro-hero Ingenium into the story, creating an exciting dynamic as Koichi must navigate helping a professional hero while keeping his vigilante identity concealed. The sequence that follows demonstrates Koichi's growth as a hero. When Ingenium runs out of fuel while pursuing the runaway bus, Koichi steps in to deliver Juice, Ingenium's fuel, and ends up partnering with the professional hero to rescue the passengers. Despite Ingenium's instructions for Koichi to offer support from as far away as possible and avoid dangerous maneuvers, circumstances force the crawler to take increasingly risky actions to save his mother and Makoto. The rescue operation culminates in a breathtaking moment when the bus plunges off a broken overpass, requiring Koichi to make a desperate leap from the falling vehicle. In this critical moment, the episode reveals its most significant bombshell. Koichi's mother explains that when he was a baby, he'd float through the air before he learned to stand up. This startling information suggests that Koichi's quirk may actually include the ability to fly, not just slide along surfaces as he's been doing as the crawler. His mother confesses that she used to slap him to make him stop floating, fearing where he might fly off to, and this disciplinary action may have psychologically limited his quirk's development. As Koichi makes his leap from the falling bus, his mother reflects philosophically that there comes a time when children fly off on their own, and the best we can hope to do is teach them how to fall safely. This statement works on multiple levels, as literal commentary on Koichi's current aerial maneuver and as metaphorical acceptance of her son's independent life choices. The parallel between Koichi's physical leap and his mother's emotional letting go creates a powerful thematic resonance in this climactic scene. Ingenium successfully catches Koichi in midair, completing the rescue and solidifying their impromptu partnership. This collaboration between a licensed hero and vigilante represents an interesting exploration of the series' central themes regarding what it means to be heroic regardless of official status. Ingenium's willingness to work with the crawler, even if reluctantly, acknowledges the value of Koichi's assistance during the crisis. The episode's aftermath shows a softening in Koichi's mother's attitude toward his Tokyo lifestyle. Before departing, she asks Kazuho and Mr. Kuroiwa to look after her son, granting tacit approval to his current living arrangement and social circle. She even encourages Makoto to give my boy a serious chance, maintaining her hope for Koichi's romantic future but no longer insisting on bringing him home. This resolution suggests that witnessing her son's heroism during the bus incident has reassured her about his capacity to take care of himself. In the episode's final scene, Koichi trains with Knuckle Duster, attempting to recreate the flying he briefly experienced during the bus rescue. Despite his efforts, he can only hover about 30 centimeters off the ground, nowhere near the dramatic aerial maneuver he performed earlier. When Knuckle Duster suggests that perhaps Koichi imagined it, a sad hallucination born of a quirk complex, Koichi insists it really happened but admits he can't reproduce it. He wonders if it was a one-time miracle brought about by the power of Asakusa, referring to the district where he purchased his All Might hoodie earlier that day. This closing sequence brilliantly sets up future developments regarding Koichi's quirk. The revelation that he could fly as a baby, combined with his brief aerial success during an emergency, suggests that his quirk's true potential remains untapped. Perhaps limited by psychological barriers stemming from his mother's early disciplinary actions. The contrast between his childhood floating and his current limited sliding ability invites viewers to wonder whether Koichi might eventually unlock his quirk's full capabilities, potentially transforming the crawler from a ground-based vigilante into a more versatile hero. Episode 9 serves as an important character study for Koichi, deepening our understanding of his background and motivations while hinting at greater power hiding within him. The family dynamics explored through his mother's visit provide emotional context for his development as both a person and a hero in training. Her ultimate acceptance of his path, symbolized by her philosophical reflection on children needing to fly off on their own, represents a significant milestone in Koichi's journey towards self-actualization. The episode ends with a preview for the next installment, which will focus on an opening event for Maricane Department Store where Popstep plans to perform alongside local entertainers. This setup suggests a shift back to Popstep's storyline and introduces what appears to be a public event that could become the setting for future vigilante activities or villain attacks. Through its blend of domestic comedy, superhero action, and character-revealing flashbacks, Episode 9 of My Hero Academia, Vigilantes, delivers a satisfying standalone story while advancing the series' overarching themes about the nature of heroism and the personal journeys of its unconventional protagonists. The revelation about Koichi's potential flying ability adds an intriguing layer to his character development, promising exciting possibilities for the crawler's future as he continues to discover the true extent of his powers.